Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/TrueOffMyChest, where OP's wife is heavily deep in the affair fog. Let's begin. My wife went back to work 6 months ago, fell in love with her boss, had an affair, claimed lost connection, finally admitted months later, and now wants a divorce. Posted by Reddit user throwaway19891953.
I feel a bit guilty writing again as I had such an amazing response from you guys last time. But I'm just so hurt and want people's thoughts. Background: we have 2 small kids, married 7 years, together 14 in total. She suffered from depression before kids, but it got worse after, and she struggles to spend time with them as too stressful. I have always given her as much support as I could, especially when she was struggling. Gave her time alone on weekends, did bedtime, let her travel, etc. It was always about her issues. She never said we were in trouble ourselves. I was never the husband who worked late and let her be the housewife who couldn't cope. We had several milestones in our minds which we hoped would help her. When kids reach a certain age, go to school, buy the dream house, and then finally once she gets back to work. She started working again in Q3 last year as a contractor for a large organization. Told me early on her boss was flirty, had a reputation, and it made her uncomfortable. We agreed she should take screenshots of the remarks for HR, as it was clearly a conflict since they wanted to hire her directly instead of being a contractor, and he was in charge of the process. Fast forward to February, and she tells me after a few days away abroad with her family that she wants to move out for a few weeks to find herself and think, as she's struggling so much and doesn't understand why she's not happy. Came out of nowhere for me. I try to work on us, go on lunch dates where she worked throughout, etc. But then have to go away for a few days to see sick family. During the time away we seem fine, write romantically, etc. When I come back she tells me she needs to go and be alone a couple of weeks within 30 minutes of me arriving home. I ask again if there's someone else and she denies it. The next day, after pushing from my side, she finally admits there is someone else she had feelings for, but nothing ever happened. After more pushing she admits they did go on dates and kissed but no sex. Final push from my side and she said they had sex but only once. Allegedly they also broke up after, as his girlfriend found text messages. We separated a week when I finally asked if she wants a divorce. 14 years in the relationship, and 1 hour later after me asking she says yes. 30 minutes later says she's really sorry. I'm at rock bottom. Can't sleep or eat. Hurt she never wanted to even work on the marriage but wants to throw it all away after all this time. Any thoughts would be greatly appreciated.
OP, get some legal advice about the children and your rights. Send her to the affair partner, let him deal with her bullshit. Go 180 on her and give her nothing except talking about the children. Let the family and friends know so you can get some emotional support. You desperately need it. It also stops her from spinning the story to make you look like the bad guy. Look after yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. Just a fair warning, OP. The affair fog will wear off. When that time comes, she will be running back to you. Kick her back to the streets where she belongs. And now for today's second story. I feel like having a baby was a huge mistake. The update 2 years later. Posted by Reddit user BigBeardFPV.
I'm her father, and no, I didn't have to push out the baby or carry her for 9 months, but I don't think I've ever been more sad, exhausted, or depressed over a decision my whole life. Prior to the baby, I had lots of hobbies, traveled the world, had a thriving, loving relationship with my wife, and more. I built things, flew drones, worked on cars, and loved my Wall Street job. But it all feels like that's gone. I have a 9-week-old and it has been rough. Nobody can really explain how demanding and exhausting and selfless you have to be to raise a child. I am just grabbing at any moments of peace, and when she sleeps, I just want to stay up and have a chance to be me. But I'm so tired that I can't even enjoy those moments. I find myself wanting to pack up and just disappear. I find myself not even wanting to wake up, because I know what the day requires. When does it get better? When will I get 7 to 9 hours straight of sleep every night again? When will I get a chance to live again? I don't get time with my wife. Love life is non-existent. I don't get to travel or do any hobbies I had. I work 9 to 10 hours a day and I'm exhausted even before the day starts. I feel so guilty because she's beautiful and it isn't her fault, but if I could go back and undo this decision I would. I know not all experiences are the same, but I'm hoping someone has a positive word or glimmer of hope for me. I hope I didn't ruin my life. An honest write-up from first-time dad. Update. Hello everyone and happy Friday. I wasn't going to write this update as it has been so long, but I realize that we are a community, and part of the power in community is in normalizing the experiences that we sometimes feel we go through alone. You are not alone, and feel free to ask me any questions about my journey below. I'll do my best to respond to everyone. If you haven't read my first post, in summary, I was feeling lost, sad, depressed, resentful, exhausted, emotional, overwhelmed, scared, and questioning if I'd ruined my whole life in what was supposed to be a joyous experience. So now that you've survived my introduction, here's my 2-year update. What does life feel like at this point? I could tell you what life is, but that's not how we connect as humans. We connect and function based on feelings and our perceptions. So with that being said, my heart has never been more full, my purpose has never been more clear. And while life has never felt the same, I'm not sure I'd ever want it to go back to the perfect life I had before my little girl. She's about to turn 2, and every morning I look forward to my daddy as she runs into my home office after she wakes up. And I look forward to my big goodnight hug and goodnight daddy before she's put into bed. Her laughs absolutely obliterates the shadows cast from a bad day at work, and chasing her on the playground at the park has become one of our favorite pastimes. When did it get better for you? It gets better in stages, but I'm still not sure how much of that is because things actually get much easier, or if there is a natural evolution we go through as first-time parents. I remember feeling absolutely exhausted, and without any time. Today, I get full nights of sleep usually. I have a few pockets to myself here and there, and while I don't get to sleep in late, stay up all night clubbing, or some of the more adolescent things I used to enjoy, I am enjoying life again. 4 months, first smiles were nice, but still not enough to change the quality of life. 10 months, she started eating food, making lots of funny faces, and developed a fondness for me even though I wasn't fond of her. Those long nights were few and far between, and while I didn't have free time, I had sleep. And we all know sleep is extremely insert curse word here important after the initial exhaustion in the earlier stages. 13 months, a mobile baby is a whole new challenge, and putting on the baby shows wasn't enough to keep her happy. It is again a shift where baby proofing becomes a huge deal, and you also look around and realize your space has been taken over by the baby. Baby stuff was everywhere. I was much less depressed, but ready to go back to normal life. Hint, it never happens, haha. 16 months, the babies make huge growth leaps in this time. Playtime becomes much more fun, and suddenly you can start to do things like slightly longer car rides to your favorite food places, etc. I realized half my beard had started graying, but oh well. It is what it is. 20 months, words are babble and more words. This is a fun stage where exploration becomes a joint exercise. You find yourself enjoying rediscovering things you had forgotten were so amazing. Swings in parks and baby-appropriate bounce houses are commonplace. You also look up and realize that you've survived the infant stage and are now dealing with a full-blown funny toddler. They are weird, they are emotional, they are fun, they are loving, and they trust you to the edges of the universe and back. This was one of my favorite time periods so far. Emotionally, I realized I was no longer sad I had a kid, and I found that being gone from her for too long made me sad. Ugh, you start to feel like a real parent here. 22 months, I love my little one so much. I love her so much that I want another. What is wrong with me? The period you hate goes by so quickly if you just hold on and keep your head down. I'm back to most of my favorite things, albeit with less time to enjoy. I love music, for instance, so I purchased a headphone amplifier and a 300 pair of headphones so I can enjoy while I work. I have several toys I play with occasionally, but more than anything, I feel whole. It gets better, and now I can't believe that I'm ready to have another. Those of you in this community that helped me were a godsend. I'm happy to be here, and anyone can always reach out if they have questions or just need encouragement.
I feel like this is pretty much the experience of most first-time parents. The first 18 months or so is usually when they feel the brunt of being a new parent. It's terrifying, exhausting, and you question every decision that led up to that moment. But after that, it gets so much better. Once they begin sleeping well, you can really enjoy the kids. Soon, your face will light up whenever you hear their little screams in the morning. I'm glad you're enjoying fatherhood, OP. I wish you the best. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.